What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch back here with another NFL video. In this video, my official NFL playoff predictions for the upcoming 2021-2022 NFL playoffs. My predictions from the wild card round through the Super Bowl, giving you my AFC champion, my NFC champion, my Super Bowl matchup, and my Super Bowl team for this NFL season, the Super Bowl 56 champion. I've already covered the AFC, the NFC, my record predictions for every NFL team. In this video, I will go game by game in the playoffs, predicting each matchup and how it will go down. These are my predictions, my picks for who will make the playoffs, who will advance in the playoffs, and my projections for how the playoffs will shape up this season. Let me know yours in the comment section below. And of course, Gronk, spike that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more NFL on the BLV. In the AFC, I have the Kansas City Chiefs with the bye as the first place team. The Cleveland Browns finishing with the same record as the Chiefs, but the Chiefs beating them in week 1, therefore getting the number 1 because of the head-to-head advantage. Seed number 3 goes to the Buffalo Bills, the champions of the AFC East, and the Titans winning a weak AFC South as the final division winner. My wildcard teams, the top team in the AFC will be the New England Patriots as they challenge the Bills for the AFC East, but just come up short with young Mac Jones. My number 6 is an ascending Justin Herbert Chargers team with an electric offense and a great coaching staff. And number 7, the Baltimore Ravens just cannot miss because Lamar Jackson is too good at football. You see my teams that just missed out, namely the Miami Dolphins, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Denver Broncos, and the Indianapolis Colts. Those are my AFC teams, my order from 1 to 16. Now let's take a look at the NFC. The NFC, my number 1 seed, an undefeated 17-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers with the bye. Yes, I said undefeated. I said it. You want me to say it again? All right. 17-0 at number 2. The San Francisco 49ers, who I have at 13-4, securing the number 2 seed thanks to an easy schedule, but a really talented roster. The 49ers number 2, the Packers number 3, winning the AFC North. Reigning supreme once again, Aaron Rodgers, the MVP, with another great year. Number 4, the Washington football team, take for the second year in a row, the NFC East, just holding off the Cowboys, beating them out by 1 game. My NFC wildcard teams, number 5, the Los Angeles Rams with Matthew Stafford, 2 games above the number 6 Minnesota Vikings, who finished second in the NFC North and really take advantage of a bad Chicago and a even worse Detroit Lions. And the number 7 Seattle Seahawks. I simply cannot not pick the Seahawks to make the playoffs because Russell Wilson is a baller. In the hunt, the teams that just missed for me, the Cowboys, the Panthers, the Cardinals, the Saints, all have a debate to make the playoffs as a wild card, or maybe even a winner of their division, but I just don't see it. So those are my NFC seeds from number 1 through 16. Let's take a look at the AFC wildcard matchups. My number 2, the Cleveland Browns, will take on the Baltimore Ravens as the number 7. My number 4, Tennessee Titans, will take on the Patriots at home. My number 3, Buffalo Bills take on the Chargers in a high-flying matchup, and of course, the Chiefs with the bye. So that means we got to break down these matchups. The first game, the Cleveland Browns, the Baltimore Ravens. This is a AFC North divisional matchup. This is going to be a tough, hard-fought game. These two teams have played each other very well. Very well. I'm talking last season, they had probably the best game of the year on Monday Night Football with Lamar Jackson having a phenomenal performance. But I do not see that as the case in this game. I think the Browns being at home in the dog pound, having Baker Mayfield ascending as a talent, Odell Beckham Jr. being the difference as a playmaking receiver, their defense getting better and specifically better up front with more speed to contain Lamar Jackson and, of course, an improved secondary. The Browns are, to me, the most talented roster in the AFC, and the Ravens simply don't have that talent to match, and Lamar can only do so much. Their defense is strong, but not what it was. I have the Browns beating the Ravens, figuring out a way to move that football and doing enough defensively to hold off Lamar Jackson. The Browns will advance to the divisional round. The next matchup is the number 4 versus number 5 Tennessee Titans and the New England Patriots. In this game, I have a shocker. I am going with the Patriots to go to Tennessee and defeat the Titans in this game. Yes, the Titans have electric playmakers. They have Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill, A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, who hopefully is healthy at this point. The offense has electricity flowing through their veins, but they will be facing, arguably at this point in the year, the best defense in football under Bill Belichick with Matt Judon, Dante Hightower, Devin McCourty, Stephon Gilmore back, J.C. Jackson, Jonathan Jones, a loaded front, an awesome secondary. The Patriots will lock down the Titans both on the ground and through the air, while Mac Jones chews the clock, eats it up with a good ground game and a great play action game. The key difference in this one is the play from the tight ends of the Patriots. They're going to be very tough to match up with Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, as well as Jacoby Myers, who I'm really not sure a weak Titan secondary can cover. I think Mac Jones has a good young Brady-like performance and wins this game in a defensive game 24-20 to advance to the next round, and we'll see who they take on. My final AFC wildcard game is the Los Angeles Chargers at the Buffalo Bills. Now, the main reason I think this will be tough for the Chargers to win is they're going from west to east, from Los Angeles to Buffalo. It's going to be cold. It might be snowing. It's going to be real chilly. And I feel Josh Allen, with his experience, the overall experience of the Bills roster from top to bottom on offense and defense after 2 consecutive years in the playoffs. Josh Allen's been there. He's done that. He's felt the pressure. Justin Herbert has not. As much as the Chargers may score in this game, they will score less than the Buffalo Bills. The Bills will find a way to win with Josh Allen making enough throws, enough plays. Cole Beasley, Stephon Diggs. This electric offense is just hard to stop, and I don't think a young, immature team will stop them in the Chargers. So the Bills will advance to play the Browns. The Patriots will advance to go to Arrowhead to take on the Chiefs. The AFC divisional matchup, number 1, we have the Buffalo Bills as the number 3 seed. To Cleveland in the dog pound as the number 2 seed, the Browns. Stephon Diggs versus Odell Beckham Jr. I am taking the Browns. The reason is I think this is a tough matchup for the Bills. I really do. I think the Browns have a good secondary, a good enough secondary to match up with the Bills receivers, to slow them down, to lock them down, and to make life difficult. I also look at a Bills defense that I'm not exactly sure has the capability of slowing down a balanced and efficient offense in the Browns. The Browns offense can run it, they can throw it, and they can do it all. And I really think that's going to keep a Bills defense that doesn't have a ton of upper echelon talent on their toes. They're not a great run defense, which the Browns are a great offensive line, a great run offense. And I think Baker Mayfield makes enough throws here. I do think Josh Allen will be tough to eliminate in the divisional round, but I just don't know if the Bills' lack of a balanced team on both offense with a lack of a rushing game and a lack of just a pass rush is going to be able to defeat such a complete, well-rounded roster like the Browns. So I will take Cleveland at home to advance to the AFC Championship. My number 4 versus my number 1. It is the New England Patriots with Stephon Gilmore and this secondary taking on Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. Mac Jones, a huge game, the biggest of his life, going to Arrowhead to take on Patrick Mahomes and the team that's been in the Super Bowl 2 consecutive years. The last team, AFC team, to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs was the Patriots, and they will do it again. Yes, I'm going with the upset. I'm going with a shocker, and I know people are going to call me a homer, Patriot line view, whatever you like, all right? The Patriots are the worst matchup for the Chiefs in this AFC field. They have a phenomenal secondary. They have a great pass rush now with athletic players like Josh Uche, Chase Winovich, Matt Judon, Dante Hightower, Kyle Van Noy, and the young Christian Barmore. These players will contain and get pressure after Mahomes while being able to match up with both Hill and Kelsey. Jonathan Jones has done a good job on Hill in the past, and J.C. Jackson has locked down Kelsey as well. I feel Belichick has played Mahomes about as good as anybody, and that will help them win this game. Mac Jones, he won't have to do much because they're going to run the rock all over Kansas City, containing that offense to the sidelines, chewing up the clock, and Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry, James White, Jacoby Myers, and the inside passing attack in between the numbers, defeating the nickel defensive back, the linebackers, and the slow safeties of Kansas City, the true weaknesses that Tom Brady took advantage of in the Super Bowl last year. The same will be said for Mac Jones, along with Damian Harris running the rock. I think the Patriots are a real tough out for Kansas City, and I actually think New England would win this game. They almost beat them with Brian Hoyer. I'm going to go with the upset here this year in the playoffs. That means in the AFC Championship game, I have an unlikely but potentially incredible AFC Championship with great storylines. The Cleveland Browns versus the New England Patriots. Of course, this is Bill Belichick's first team that he was a head coach of. You have Baker Mayfield taking on a young upstart Mac Jones. You have a Gilmore versus Odell. You have a great defense versus Nick Chubb, and this great offensive line. I mean, this would be an epic matchup. This game would be in the dog pound. The storylines of the Patriots would be absurd, especially considering the rookie season of Mac Jones. But at the end of the day, I think Cleveland is the team to beat in the AFC. I really do think this is their year to get to the Super Bowl. Baker Mayfield, I think, will ascend to a top 10 level as a quarterback. His efficiency, his effectiveness, his arm, his ability to move, his ability to just put the ball in the money and execute this offense will be at an all-time high. I think the difference of the Browns having a defense that I think will pack the box, but have the defenders on the perimeter to play and to cover the Patriots. I would actually not be surprised if the Patriots move the ball on Cleveland a little bit because they're not the greatest run defense up front, along with not having the greatest cover linebackers to cover a Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. But I just think the Browns offense offers a lot, and it's going to be tough for a Patriots team to win a defensive game and to beat three of the top teams in the AFC, even though they beat Kansas City. So for me, I feel like it's a tougher matchup Cleveland is than Kansas City for New England, and I think they stop here. But the incredible run was an incredible run. I just think Cleveland is the most well-rounded AFC team, and that's why I'm taking them to advance to the Super Bowl. Now to the NFC. The wildcard matchups, the San Francisco 49ers facing off versus their NFC West rivals, the Seattle Seahawks. Russell Wilson versus Kyle Shanahan's Niners. Nick Bosa is going to be a terror. You have a Washington football team and the Los Angeles Rams. The football team with Chase Young taking on Aaron Donald and the Rams. You have the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers versus his rival, the Vikings. That game's going to be great for the third time this year. Two divisional matchups in the NFC wildcard round with the Bucs as the bye team. The first matchup, the Niners and the Seahawks. I'm going to go with the Niners here. I think the Niners' ability to dominate the line of scrimmage, both on offense and on defense, is the difference. I'm not a believer in Seattle's defense overall. I think Kyle Shanahan can find a way to scheme up to move that football down the field. It's going to be tough for the Seahawks to cover Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, and George Kittle in this game, as they really don't have a great coverage unit. On top of that, they don't have a great pass rush. I feel whoever the quarterback is, Lance or Garoppolo, will be comfortable to pass and to move the ball down the field. On top of that, Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, Dee Ford, these pass rushers will give Russell Wilson a tough time. They're familiar with his style of play, and I think they'll give him fits. The Seahawks are eliminated by an NFC West team 2 years in a row. The next matchup, the Washington football team and the LA Rams. For me, I'm going with the Rams here. I like Washington. I like their roster. I think they'll have a good defense, and they might give the Rams a very tough, hard-fought game. But I think the Rams just have a more explosive, reliable offense, and Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford will be clicking at this point. They might very well be the Bucs of last year when it comes to ascending at the right time, hitting their stride at the right time, getting into the playoffs. And what do you know? The Bucs also played the Washington football team in the first round in Washington last year. It's kind of weird. The final NFC wildcard matchup is the Green Bay Packers at the Minnesota Vikings. This is going to be a real close game. I think Dalvin Cook and his ability to run the ball will be the key to this game. If the Packers can slow Dalvin Cook down, they should have a relatively easy time of moving past the Vikings. But at the same time, the Vikings have improved their defensive line, their front seven, their defense in general. Zimmer knows Rodgers. These teams know each other well. They split a year ago. I think they'll split in the regular season. I'm going to go with the Packers just because I like their pass rush to disrupt Kirk Cousins in the drop back pass game slightly more, which means that there will be too much reliance on the Vikings to get a lead and to run the ball. I think when it becomes a passing game, the Packers are superior, and that's why they'll take it. In the divisional round, that means we have the number 2 San Francisco 49ers hosting the number 3 Green Bay Packers. The Packers have been extraordinary at home in the playoffs, but they have not been extraordinary on the road in the playoffs. And they have not been extraordinary facing Kyle Shanahan's Niners. I think the Niners are a very difficult matchup for the Packers. I think it's going to be tough for them to contain that pass rush, that front four. I think it's going to be real tough, just like it was for Tampa Bay a year ago. And their main weakness defensively is stopping the run, which is the main strength of this Niners team. I almost think Trey Lance would be the better option for the Niners in this game, adding another dimension to the quarterback position that the Packers have to defend. I feel the Niners win this game and might win this game by double digits. The second NFC divisional matchup, you could argue the two best teams in the NFC, you very much could, and the team that might have the best chance of knocking off the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But I am not going to go that way. I will take the favored Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home, off of the bye, resting up, getting prepared for Tom Brady's next Super Bowl run. And I just think Tampa is just too good here. The Rams do have a debate to beat the Bucs. Like, if they can execute the same offensive game plan they did last year, getting the ball quick out of Matthew Stafford's hands, making sure that he's protected, throwing those screen passes, throwing quick to Kupp and Woods, they have a chance to put up points. They also have a chance to disrupt Brady with the front four and a secondary that can play. But the Bucs are going to be a better team this year than they were a year ago. Certainly far better than they were on that Monday Night Football matchup. This game's also in Tampa. This game, Tom Brady has his weaponry. I'm not sure the Rams secondary will have the depth to compete with this weaponry. I'm not sure outside of Aaron Donald they'll be able to get to Brady like they did last year. I'm not sure that defense is quite as good, and I'm not sure that offensive line with the Rams will hold up, especially considering without Cam Akers, I'm not sure how legitimate the Rams rushing attack will really be in a big game when you face the number 1 run defense of the last 2 years. I have the Bucs winning this game. It will be close, but I'm going to take Brady to pull it out. That means my NFC championship game is the Tampa Bay Bucs at home taking on the San Francisco 49ers. I think these are the two best rosters in the NFC. They both have excellent coaching. I think the Bucs obviously have the edge at quarterback, but they're both very good. This game will be in Tampa Bay. It will be sunny. I don't think the conditions will be much of a factor. I do think this is a bad matchup for the Niners overall. The one area I do think is good for them is they do have a pass rush that could disrupt Brady's timing, and that's always something that helps you upset Brady. Kyle is an absolute wizard and could find a way to move the ball versus Tampa Bay effectively to pull off the upset, but I think where it really comes to a crossroads for me is San Francisco's rushing attack. I just don't see having the same success, which means they're going to have to pass at a certain point. And I just don't know that either Trey Lance or Jimmy Garoppolo will be able to outduel Tom Brady, especially with the secondary in San Francisco that lacks depth at cornerback. I think Tom Brady takes advantage and they win the game. I will say it will be close, but I will take Tampa Bay to pull this one out at home to head to their second consecutive Super Bowl. That means my Super Bowl pick for Super Bowl 56 is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Cleveland Browns in LA. This game would be fun. I think this is the best team in the AFC, the best team in the NFC. I'm all in on this game. I love both these teams. Ultimately, guys, I think the Bucs are just the best team in the NFL. And that would mean they go undefeated based on my projections and my predictions. And I know that's absolutely absurd and absolutely out of left field and absolutely ridiculous. But I feel like if any team were to do it, it would be them. I look at this matchup, and just for the same reasons as the Niners, I'm not sure the Browns really have what it takes in this game to defeat the Bucs. The thing with the Bucs is they just have so many ways to beat you. They can beat you running, passing, play action, screen game, throwing to tight ends, wide receivers, running backs. They can beat you blitzing. They can beat you rushing 4. They can beat you in coverage. I mean, they can do it all. They have no weaknesses, and as long as they are healthy, it's going to be tough to run on them. They have enough. Like, I think Carlton Davis can hold his own versus Odell. I think it's really going to be forced into Baker's hands. That Cleveland secondary will be truly tested. But where I think the Bucs win this game is their dominance up front with their offensive line. Now, that might be surprising. You maybe thought I was going to say their defensive line, but I think that will be a stalemate between the Cleveland offensive line and the Bucs defensive line. But where they do have the decisive edge is their offensive line running the ball, protecting Tom, versus the Cleveland pass rush, which I don't think is quite as good as people think with Jadeveon Clowney. I'm just not sure I can count on him in this big game. So I'm going to say Tom Brady does it again, man. I know it's kind of boring or whatever, but I tried to make it fun by them going undefeated. I think the Bucs win because they're the best team. They're the most well-rounded team. They brought everybody back. They're going for it. I want to see a repeat for the first time in a while. I'm going with the Bucs, and I will take Tom Brady to win another Super Bowl MVP. My dark horse would be Antonio Brown. Let's go for it. I got the Bucs winning Super Bowl 56, but who do you have? Let me know in the comment section below. It's Mitch. Thanks for tuning in to my playoff predictions. Those are my final complete predictions for the 2021-2022 NFL season. Thanks for watching. It's Mitch. Gronk, spike that like button. Subscribe for more NFL on BLV. Peace.